All right. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Nui? Is that how you say your name? Can you hear me? Is everything good? Sweet. Perfect. So I think it's just you in here so far, right? So I'll wait to see if a few more people pop in and then I'll get started. But I'm just gonna jam on the guitar a little bit. Let me check the Discord. Alright, Nui. It's just you and me so far. Games that we play from so far away. I feel like I know you better than I should now. I could be all wrong. Hey, Miracle. I know I have before. Freely guys. For impossible love on a mission. For impossible love on a mission. For impossible on a mission. On a mission. On a mission. Impossible love on a mission. For impossible love on a mission. For impossible love on a mission. Alright, we got 4 people. Impossible. Alright, 4 people, what's up? How's everybody doing? Gary. All right, we got some really good people in here. I'm excited that what we have is extremely high quality individuals. Yes. I take great pride in that. So yeah, we got the chat going. So I guess I could just start with what I wanted to talk about today. So feel free to chime in the chat, and I would love to interact with my fellow human beings, because that's what you do. All right, so today I want to talk to you guys about some psychedelic history. So I don't know why I said that in a country accent. Could be that I'm Texan and the heat is melting my brain. That's my theory behind Southern accents, is that it's just the heat melting people's brain and they kind of develop a drawl because they're getting slowed down. But anyway, I don't have anything to back that up. All right, so psychedelic history. Brian, what's up? Woo! All right, so as you can see, I found this Instagram page about, it's called Psychedelic Archives, a trip through psychedelic history. And you can see right here in their profile picture, we have the legendary medicine woman, Maria Sabina from Oaxaca, Mexico. I mean, if anybody is responsible for the 60s psychedelic counterculture revolution, it would be this woman. Even though it was inadvertent, and in a lot of ways her story was kind of tragic, we still owe her pretty much everything, like maybe, I'm sure mushrooms would have popped out eventually, but it just so happens the way the cookie crumbled was that Gordon Wasson went down to Mexico because he heard about some research that other explorers did, and they had heard this famous legend of the mushroom, and then she gave Gordon Wasson the trip, who manipulated her, by the way, but what do you expect from a banker kind of guy? So I think there's something about Maria Sabina in one of these. I didn't realize I'm going to need to pick these out. I kind of wanted to do it spontaneously, so we're just going to check some of these out and see where it goes. I'm looking for Maria Sabina's face right now. No. All right. Let's just check some of this out. Let's see which ones they have pinned. Let's see what they think is the peak of psychedelic history.
To be exact. Timothy Leary gave me psilocybin, and it changed my life. It changed my life in the sense that it undercut the models I had of who I thought I was. All the socialization and child development that had left me with a very strong somebodyness, it cut that out. And of course there was fear in losing that familiar identity. But there was always also wonder, because I touched a place in myself that it was behind all my social roles. And it was a presence. Instead of being good or this or that or achiever or anything, I experienced a place in myself where I just say, I am. Not I am this or I am that, just I am. And there were other qualities of that experience. There was a feeling of familiarity to it. It was a feeling, even though I had not been in that space since probably childhood, before I developed my conceptual structures of mind, that place was extremely familiar to me. There was another quality to it, was that I experienced a quality of my heart that was incredibly compassionate. I looked at form as if I was standing behind the forms of the universe, and I looked out at the forms, and it was as if I saw the preciousness of all the forms, the incredible beauty of the stuff of life. It was like God's paintbrush at work. I looked at people and they were so beautiful. I looked at things and they were beautiful. I remember doing a book in the 60s with Sidney Cohen. He was the head of the government drug commission. He was the good guy and I was the bad guy. And we did a book together for New American Libraries called LSD. And we had photographs in it. And when we went to pick the photographs for the book, he picked all the photographs showing all these people on drugs kind of wiped out. And I picked all the ones showing people looking at flowers and roaming in the fields and stuff. And there was only one picture we agreed on. It was a picture of a guy lying on the floor looking at some spilled Coca-Cola. Okay? And he liked that because it showed that under drugs people got so trivial and their minds got so caught in nothing. And I liked it because this person was seeing that in everything there is everything. That in the spilled drop of Coca-Cola is the entire universe. And
That's awesome. I want to know if you guys have experienced some of the things that he was saying there, like kind of stripping away of the labels in life. And then when you do that, when you just take it raw, it's so much more beautiful that somehow, like, us naming and labeling things and categorizing, it's almost, I guess you could say it is reductionist in nature to label something. You're reducing it, you're pinning something down. Like a butterfly, it's like this insanely complex combination of things that are all reducible. Like you could say it's a creature with wings, it's these colors, it's got this kind of behavior. But if you just say it's a butterfly, that's kind of reducing it down to a little thing. So anyway, I want to talk to you guys in the chat because there's a good amount of activity in here. So I stick to iboga these days. Eaten 2 pounds of root bark in the past 13 years. Yeah, iboga sounds interesting. I am a little cautious about that because I've heard it's it can cause heart issues for some people. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but should you join the Discord? Yeah, so let me send you the link in the chat. In a few minutes, we're going to hop in the Discord, and you guys can be in it if you would like. So let me send this link here. Copy the link. Paste. Oh. 1 second. Okay, it doesn't want to work. Can somebody else? I don't know if you guys can do that actually. All right, 1 second. Okay, I'm having a little trouble sharing the link whenever I'm on here. It's in stream mode, so it says hidden, use the copy button to send the link, but whenever I do that, it just copies and pastes the hidden use copy button. So can somebody else help these people get into the Discord? Carrie, here, I'm gonna I didn't expect to have this problem, so let me see. Okay, someone already did it. Thank you. High dose flood experiences. Oh, Miracle, you're on a different account now. I was so confused for a second. Miracle, Carrie, I'm glad that y'all are meeting each other right now. I know about the long QT syndrome it can cause. What is QT syndrome? Only in extremely high doses of root bark. So that's talking about ibogaine. Oh, with the pure ibogaine. Oh, okay. Interesting. In my experience, it only improved heart health. Okay, so it seems like the extract. Miracle, where did you send the link? Uh, oh yeah, I don't see any link, Miracle. Can you try it again? All right, I'm gonna keep looking at this page, but if we don't figure that out, we'll figure something out. That's so weird. Let me try again. Not sure, guys. Yeah, if y'all can help with that, I'd appreciate it. Let's see what else we got over here. Yeah, I'm having the same kind of weird problem where it's not letting me send the link. Look, I'll even show you guys. Oh, yeah, no links in the chat. Oh, yeah, you're so right, Carrie. Yeah, guys, just there's a link on my screen. It's right under my face. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I think you would have to type in the link on a browser, maybe. I haven't actually seen how people do that, but yeah, right below my face is the link. Thanks for trying to help, guys. All right. Land worker. All right, cool. Peace. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be doing streams every Sunday, every last Sunday of the month. So stay in touch. All right, let's keep going.
What if man had turned out differently? Then where would he wear Levi's stay-pressed slacks or Levi's fashion jeans?
Okay, that's just a psychedelic commercial. I'm not that interested in it. Steve Jobs, Oh, I think this is about blotter paper. This is
What fascinates me about blotter is like what fascinates me about all good art. It changes your mind.
This is the Institute of Illegal Images, a free San Francisco museum full of tiny LSD icons printed on blotter paper. Early brands once as recognizable to those in the know as emoji are today.
My name's Mark McLeod, and I've come to this planet to reduce the amount of suffering by collecting blotter.
It all started in the early 1970s.
December 9th, 1971, I took the most powerful substance on earth, and it was a hit of Nicky Sands' Orange Sunshine. And I happened to fall out a window onto my kisser and die in the middle of it. And thanks to the LSD, I was reborn. That's why I collect blotter. A small thank you for the thing that saved me.
Of course, curating artwork soaked in a Schedule I drug has also caught the interest of the Drug Enforcement Agency.
When they came in to bust me, the first one they came in and took off the wall, which is up there on the wall, number one, this so happens to be a mandala that when inspected closely turns out to be the seal of the FBI. So they started with that one and then moved all the way through. They numbered about 350 of them. Well, the last trial, the DA claimed I had 33,000 sheets. Of course, I had many, many more. Now, you only need 1,000 sheets of 1,000 to make 1,000,000 hits. That's right. That's all it is. Here we're running a perforation board off a printing press. This is a good way to turn a 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch art piece into 900 little hits, or chads, as they say in the political world. So then there you got, 900 new friends.
wow.
McLeod's collection has been featured in books and news articles and magazines, including an early issue of Wired.
The great Eno on the cover, 95, Wired ran an article about blotter art, and they asked me for many, many examples to lay out. This issue's brought into trial. This is evidence in the court trial, my last trial. And yeah, my co-conspirator, Wired. So Wired's involved up to their necks.
Nice. I like how he said mandala. Okay, let's try to find some more historic stuff, and then there's a couple things I wanted to show you guys, and then we'll open up the Discord. So if anyone has hopped in just now, if you type in the link that's below my face here, you'll get to the Discord, and you can be part of the stream. We're going to have ourselves a little chat. So let's get into some psychedelic history, though. I maybe should have planned this out a little bit more, but I didn't realize how much stuff was on here. I'm looking for Maria Sabina. So what are you guys up to while I'm looking for this? Hmm. Oh wait, that's music. I don't want to get in trouble. Now, let's see what
See,
Tim Leary
we're not
has to
concerned
say.
with the drugs, although we're labeled in the public's mind perhaps as drug professors or people who are pushing LSD. We're not concerned with the drugs. We're mainly concerned with man's head. How can we use our own head? That's our personal search, because I know I don't use my brain. And how can we pass this information on so other people can use their heads? So when people say, what's the use of LSD, I translate that into what's the use of my head, and that's a fascinating problem. Yeah, suppose man can use more of his brain. What's he going to do? Make more money or build faster cars? LSD research, far from settling or answering anything, just raises new paradoxes about where man is going as a species. You see, we're not concerned with the drugs, although we're labeled.
That's wild. So 1964 is like the cusp of the psychedelic revolution, because I feel like 1965 is when it actually starts to show up in like art and culture. And basically up until then, it was like very elitist thing, which was like the whole dichotomy is in the late 50s and early 60s. All the intellectuals were trying to figure out what to do with psychedelics in the culture. And there was the Tim Leary camp, which was that it should be spread around to everyone and anyone who can take it, and it'll save the world. And then on the other hand, there was people like Aldous Huxley who thought that it should be reserved specifically for basically elite people. So I don't like thinking in these terms, but he just meant like engineers, artists, musicians, poets, which I agree. This, if anything, it's like those should just be the first people that you make sure they get the psychedelics first, or not even like we're in line and like these people get a privilege. I'm just saying like make sure that those people get it. And yeah, it's crazy to see like Tim Leary right before he started putting flowers in his hair, and Ram Dass before he was Ram Dass, when he was still Richard Alpert. So it's just fascinating. Do you guys have any thoughts on psychedelic history? Because I find it really interesting that there was an era where it was so prominent, you know, like I wasn't alive for it, unfortunately, but the benefit of not being around in the 60s is that I didn't have to wait 50 years for this stuff to come back. So that's the only positive of not being able to live through the 60s, is I didn't have to wait a half a century for these things to even like come out of the shadows again. Okay, so we'll do some more on psychedelic history. I just wanted to kind of get that going as like a topic, but there's a couple other things that I wanted to show you guys. I was talking to ChatGPT, and I asked it to create the perfect avatar. Avatar meaning like the example of somebody who would like watch my channel. And what it came up with was pretty cool, actually. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Okay, 1 second. The screen is acting weird. All right. So, audience avatar, the thoughtful psychonaut. Name, Alex. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to change this to our homie, Altrix. The star citizen of the Find the Others Discord. Okay, age. This can also be expanded to 100. Obviously, we're going to attract more of like people are gonna resonate, like if they feel like closer to my age or whatever. But I really, really want to include anybody. Okay. Vibe is introspective, curious, open-minded, but skeptical enough to question things critically. Background, likely has experience with psychedelics and is post the first time tripper phase. That is, with age 100, you barely caught my demographic. Yeah, I did it for you, Carrie. This is kind of important to me too, because like I've made some stuff that's like advice for trippers, but I don't want to be like the guy that just tells like absolute beginners, because I'm such a nerd about this stuff that I want to get deep into it. I want to like talk to people who have like gotten past that. So this is capturing it perfectly. And I've talked to ChatGPT about my channel before, so it's not just like saying this out of nothing. It has like a pretty good idea of like some of my values, and it has like a memory of that. Okay, so not just looking for trip tips, they want to understand the why behind their experiences. Feels a deep curiosity about consciousness, reality, and the nature of psychedelics experiences. Might have a life-changing trip and is now searching for ways to integrate it into their daily life. So some challenges that you guys might be facing: wants to make sense of profound experiences, feel like they touch something real but struggle to articulate it, wonder if their psychedelic insights are valid or just drug-induced delusions, struggles with post-trip integration, feels disconnected from their old self but doesn't know how to build a new framework for life, needs guidance on bringing insights into daily habits, wants to explore psychedelic philosophy without dogma, loves the people like Terence McKenna, Alan Watson, Carl Jung, but also values modern perspectives. That resonates with me a lot. Craves community but feels isolated in their experiences. That is my driving motivation for this, because I felt this way. So I hope I can alleviate that isolation in any way. Gives them language for their experiences, makes them feel understood, provides tools for integration, create a sense of community, challenges them to think deeper, encourages curiosity without forcing conclusions. That's huge. That's huge. Balances wonder and skepticism, explores the magic of psychedelics while acknowledging the need for critical thinking. That is so important. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that because I thought it was pretty cool that a robot just like nailed it. Okay. So I had this article I was going to show you, but I think I'll save it for next time. And we're going to open it up to the Discord. So once again, if anybody is just now joining, hit the link below my face and hop in the Discord, and we're going to get it going in T-minus like 1 minute. And you guys can be on the stream. Just remember to be respectful of people and their time, and try, give other people the chance to speak, because we got some shy people like me. All right. Okay, so I would recommend you guys to mute the stream, because there's going to be 2 of these things going on at the same time. And yeah, that'll help. What's up? Can you guys hear me? I'm not hearing anything. Can you guys hear? Yeah, can someone let me know if y'all can hear anything? I'm not hearing anything. You don't hear me in the Discord? Ah. Are you guys talking to each other? Because I can't hear you. How about now? Can y'all hear me on here? Weird. You can hear it softly? Hmm. Oh, man. Let me see if I can figure this out. I don't know what to do. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Hmm. No, I had this set up before where it was working, so I'm not sure what the issue is. I didn't change anything. And my video's not working either. I'm going to reset Discord, guys. I think the call might be on if you guys are in there still, but just in case it shuts off, I'm going to reset it. Alright, if anybody is only on the stream and are confused what's going on right now, I'm trying to get the Discord voice chat going. For some reason, it's not working for me. And Discord takes forever too. Maybe I can get on my tablet. Alright, and Discord is super slow. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. So you guys are in there? Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you, bro.
Okay, give me 1 second. Can you guys say some stuff and we test it out?
To
Yes,
sit in
let's
solemn
say
silence
whatever.
on a dull,
Lots
dark
of stuff.
dock in a pestilent
More stuff.
with a lifelong lock.
Do you
Await
like being hit with a
I can't hear
stick?
you anymore. Hold on.
I like being hit with a stick.
powering on
Tomato burnout.
the Altec Lansing.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys check something? Is the audio coming through in the stream? Uh, the Discord audio specifically. The Discord audio specifically.
Check.
The Discord.
Yes, but there's like an echo.
Hmm. Yeah, that's because
I
I
think
have
the
it.
echo is because like one of us didn't touch the sound of the stream, so we hear it again and again.
Okay. Um. See, I'm only able to hear you when I put it on my external speaker, and when I put it in my headphones, it just stops, which is what's causing this problem. I don't know why it's being so weird.
You might
Um,
be able to adjust the sensitivity, like the input sensitivity
yeah, here, let me try something else. I
or
have this
noise
all set up too. I don't know why it's not working now.
noise suppression.
Check, check, check.
Mic check, mic check. Oh, okay. It's
Okay.
not coming in anymore. It's not
It's
echoing.
better.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no more echo, I think.
All right, cool. I think I can get rid of Okay. I think we're good, guys. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think everything is going all right.
All right, sweet. Well, what's up? What's up? How are we feeling?
Good, good, honestly. And how about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I didn't let these technical difficulties get me down, so I'm feeling good about that. We stayed calm. We stayed cool.
Great.
Um, so Nui,
Yes, brother.
yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. I saw you had a YouTube channel. It looks like you've been doing. How long have you been doing that for?
I started the YouTube channel, I think, like something like a little bit less than 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into psychedelics like 10 years ago, like from now.
Cool. So you're based in Morocco somewhere, right? I don't know if you.
Exactly.
Okay. So what is it like for someone that over there who's interested in this stuff? How is that? What's that experience like?
In Morocco, I think it's like it's
It's
really
difficult.
complicated. It's really complicated. Like Selma, like is my girlfriend. Like she's with me in Morocco,
Oh,
so she
okay.
can tell you too. But
I s-
like in Morocco, the laws are really strict, and like there are a lot of religious law because it's a Muslim country.
mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of like it's not easy to find psychedelics. Like in general, like what is available in the illegal market in Morocco, like you can struggle a little and find some LSD.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the other psychedelics don't come into Morocco because like with LSD it's easy for people to like cross the country with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think people struggle a lot because like the vision of drugs in Morocco that like it's really a duality. Either you don't like drugs are bad. Like people just are drugs are bad. There is no in between or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, like the community who do psychedelics, you'll find only a few people that are really psychonauts that do it carefully and go into this with like wanting insight, philosophic insight, or psychological insight. Like a lot of people like are just scared, are like you take LSD, you're gonna go crazy. And the people who try them in general, they try them like in really bad settings and
Mm-hmm.
have bad experience. And especially because in Morocco, like the people are cool, but the society is really judgmental. It's really like everyone looking what everyone is doing. So under the influence of LSD, you can get like really, really paranoid in Morocco,
Mm-hmm.
and because like like psychedelics make you like question everything and reconsider the society, like in a society that like really in Morocco there is not a lot of logic in how society works, so people struggles a lot with psychedelic in Morocco.
Hmm. Fascinating. Yeah. So that sounds like similar to how someone here might feel if they were in like a smaller town or like out in the country more. Uh, yeah, basically it sounds like conservative in a way that's not open to psychedelics. Um,
Yes, exactly.
so do you basically only find a person every once in a while and then you kind of like discover that you're interested in it, or is there any kind of like places where you might find more psychonauts than other, like are there music festivals and that kind of thing?
Yes, yes, but like in the like personally, like I lived in Morocco and I studied few years like in France, and I traveled a little bit like in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in France, like in like music festivals, like psychedelic, trance, techno, you can find people like this in Morocco too. But like in Morocco, like I think it's a little bit more like shady, underground, especially for the psychedelic vibe. Like people who do like cocaine and ecstasy are really like in the front, in the I don't know techno scene, etc. Like I think like cocaine and ecstasy are even a little bit mainstream, like in more like in the young people who do parties, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
like the psychedelic is a little bit more underground.
Hmm. That's fascinating. So
Yes,
Morocco, how close are you to Algeria? Is there like one country
we're
over?
We are
uh, we're
neighbors.
we're neighbors.
Neighbors? Oh, okay, cool. So there's some interesting history. I don't know if you know about like
Yes,
the Black
the
Panthers.
man, the bee, like the in the comment on dit la grotte in a
The
place.
cave.
Yes, in the cave, there was like a painting of a mushroom, a bee mushroom man, and I think
Hmm.
like in the origins, like in the Maghreb, like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia,
Mm-hmm.
like I think thousands years ago, I think there was a psychedelic culture, and I think like what before I think like before the Muslims came to the Maghreb, like maybe 1,000 years ago, I think there was some kind of psychedelic things going on,
Hmm.
because even like Syrian rue, like the Harmaline Syrian rue, is used in traditional Morocco, like they do incense with it. And I'm pretty sure that we have some acacia tree in Morocco that you can mix it with Syrian rue and do some kind of ayahuasca similar thing.
Hmm. Oh wow, that's really interesting. That's actually something different than what I was talking about. There's a
Okay,
but
let me
that
know.
that's cool to know. Still, that's really fascinating. I was reading a book about Tim Leary. You know that guy?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm working on a project about an idea he got, so let me
Oh,
know.
okay. Cool. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about, bro. But one of the things that I found out about him is that in the early 70s, he was on the run from our president at the time, Richard Nixon, who that was like his mortal enemy, right? He needed a boogeyman, somebody to take down that represented this like rebellion of the youth. And so they hunted Tim Leary, and he escaped to Algeria, where the Black Panthers had set up like an embassy at the time. And Algeria wasn't on good terms with the United States, so they almost treated the Black Panthers as if they were the American embassy, and so Tim Leary was staying with the Black Panthers in exile in Algeria, and he had this utopian idea that he was going to make Algeria this new psychedelic capital of the world. And as I'm sure you'd probably guess, it didn't really turn out that way. But I just
Yes.
thought it was cool. Like that, there was a time where someone was in North Africa and they were going to try to make it psychedelic, but they ran into a lot of resistance, as you can imagine.
That's sad.
Yes, yes. Here, like I think it's not even like in the deep-rooted culture. Like like the originary people of Morocco aren't like the Arabs. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Amazigh.
Okay.
And I think in the Amazigh, I'm pretty sure that they were something like linked to psychedelics, because like in Morocco, there are even some places where you can find some kind of strange mushroom. I
Mm.
think like I forgot the name, but like with psilocybin in it, like you can find them in some places in Morocco,
Mm.
and I'm like every. Like the way the ground is painted, the way the like mandalas, you can see some kind of like mandala shaped things in the ancient cultural like walls, etc. So I'm sure this like emerged from the psychedelic visions.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I like how when there's things like that where you don't have proof, but you have clues. They're like,
Yeah.
I think psychedelics were involved here. I feel that way about Mayan culture for sure. But
For sure.
there is more evidence that does support them, like in the Aztec and Mayan. They're not the same thing, but they were
Yes.
very closely connected culturally, and the Aztec have a word for mushrooms called like Teonactal or something like that. It means flesh of the gods, and they had all kinds of like uh, entheogens and things like that. So our friend Miracle down here comes from the Mayan lineage. Are you here still, Miracle?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Like yes.
Oh, he's saying miracle.
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 Ah, okay, yes, like yes, I believe completely in miracle. If that's the
No,
question.
the girl, her name is Miracle.
I'm so glad you believe in me. Thank you. I believe in you too. We're all here to support each other, brother. Hi,
What up?
I hope everyone's doing well. What's
Yeah.
up, man? I heard Mayan and my ears went hurt.
Yeah, that was
Like a dog whistle.
the idea. What about have you found any evidence of Mayans using mushrooms, or is it like just this thing you feel in your bones with your ancestors?
Well, interestingly enough, by complete accident, I ended up going to Goliad State Park in Texas at one point, and they had a church that was from like the 1600s. It
Ooh.
was a beautiful, beautiful church. The acoustics were phenomenal, and they had different artifacts from, unfortunately, from whenever the Spaniards came and colonized.
Mm-hmm.
But they had Mayan artifacts there as well, and one of the artifacts was used for scarification. And so, according to the historical records that I read at that church, the scarification was part of a ritualistic process where they would eat mushrooms,
Hmm.
undergo some sort of spiritual visionary experience, and from there, they would do the scarification process while the person was in that altered state as part of the ritual.
So does that mean
So,
like giving them scars?
well, I hate to say it, but it means like literally cutting into their flesh to leave scars for later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's very intense. Obviously this wasn't the case for all the Mayans.
Mhm.
This was there were, some from Guatemala, some from El Salvador, and then of course in Mexico as well.
Mm-hmm.
But so these specifically they pertain to the native Mayans who were in the Mexican region.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting because I knew that there was a use for mushrooms, um, just from like research that I had done prior, but I didn't know about the scarification thing. That
Mhm.
I would not recommend.
Yeah. Well, it's all relative too, because it's like for for some people like that, it could be considered like a great honor, a great honor to be part of that ritual, right? Where we might like cringe at it, but it could have been held in a super high regard to them, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, that's definitely valid.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, the perspective and, the whole being a warrior and having a rite of passage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's completely understandable. But yeah, I think nowadays some people might not really be too keen on that or willing
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, they're so emo.
That's also where I get my emo-ness from.
Oh, that's what it is.
It's like the love for mushrooms and also being emo come from my Mayan heritage.
Oh my god. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. How was your last trip?
So my last trip, I'm trying to remember it. It's actually been a while since I tripped. I think that where did I go? Oh, I think I went to Ren Fair and I tripped last. I think that was my last trip.
Renaissance Fest.
Yes, I went to a Renaissance festival. I
Hey,
was
Nui, do you know what that is? The Renaissance Fair?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay. It's a festival that's really popular here in the United States where basically everyone is pretending like it's the medieval times, like so yeah, like with kings and knights and yeah, castles and jousting, and it's pretending like 500 years ago basically. So it's in the forest too, so it kind of has this like really fun vibe. But anyway, so you took LSD at Renfest?
Yes. That was interesting because I wore a corset and I went to the restroom and I remember having a bit of an existential crisis thinking, is this really what women had to go through in this time period? Having to take off like 1,000 layers of skirts and shirts and garments and then corsets and lacing it and all this other stuff. It was just I remember I was maybe in the restroom for about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Just contemplating this perspective that I was having. But afterwards, it felt so mystical. If it felt like I was like this is kind of interesting, but recently I started rewatching a show originally from sci-fi called The Magicians, and there's other dimensions that exist, and some people can travel to those dimensions. And there's one in particular called Fillory, and it's like magical, and the atmosphere is a certain percentage of opium.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. But it felt like that. It felt like I had stepped out of our time and into this past
Mm,
life and perspective. It was really interesting being in that state of mind. I had a wonderful time. It felt
nice.
really mystical.
Was out of all the stuff you saw, was there anything that just like blew your mind? Oh, there's a funny little story. I've probably told you this, Miracle, but one time I was trip sitting my friends on mushrooms, and I took them to a park. And as soon as they started to trip, like their mushroom trip was coming on, uh, we saw these guys who were cosplaying as knights, and they were having like a full sword fight with armor and shields, and they were just like two knights fighting. And then my friend, this was like their first mushroom trip too, so they were just like, the fuck is going on? It was so funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that blew my mind the most, it was so wholesome, but we went to go see an untrained dog show,
Mm.
and it was just a bunch of really cute dogs that kind of listened, but not really, for treats.
Uh-huh.
It was so funny, and I just remember being filled with so much joy and sitting there and just like full belly laughing,
Mm.
um, because it was just so ridiculous. It was just these dogs. I felt like a child again. Like I felt so wholesome and like so full of wonder, and it was just so adorable to see these dogs on stage, kind of doing tricks, but not really if they felt like it. It was great.
That is adorable. Nice. Well,
Yeah.
how long ago was that?
Gosh, I don't remember honestly. I feel like time has been flying by.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the strangest thing. Like I, it's about to be April. How?
I know.
I feel like that thing that Terrence McKenna was saying, where things are slowly getting more chaotic, or things are like accelerating and becoming more chaotic to this um, point. The concrescence of this. I can't remember the word that he
The
used.
eschaton.
Yes, the eschaton, the transcendental object at the end of the universe.
Yeah. It's coming,
I
right?
feel like that's what's happening. It's things are getting chaotic out there. It's wild.
Yeah, I
But
know.
can I touch on something that someone said earlier?
Yeah.
So Nui was talking about how in Morocco it's mostly of the Muslim faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to share a story about a time that I actually gave one of my Muslim friends LSD,
Ooh.
and yeah,
Interesting.
yes, yes. And so basically there was a bit of a language barrier, and I had met him, we were working together, and we became friends over time. And I know he liked to, smoke weed every once in a while, and I talked to him about how like weed is a kind of like a psychedelic, but what LSD would be not like weed. It's like a step above.
Right.
I tried to explain that. I tried my best. And he said, "Is this for partying?" And I said, "No, it's not really a party drug. It's more of a thinking drug."
Mm.
And he was like, "Okay, well, I'm open to it." And I was like, "All right, sweet." And so I started by giving him half, and we went to the beach, and we were just sitting there having a nice time. And he said he wanted to take the other half, and I asked him if he was sure. He said yes, and so I said okay, gave him the rest. Well, after that, he came over to our place and he was hanging out with us for a bit, but you could see there was like there was like a change happening, and eventually he said that he wanted to feel the trip out at home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him like I'll come with you, and he's like, "No, I'll be okay." And he spent the rest of the night walking up and down the beach and just thinking. And so when I talked to him the next day, to check in on, because I was checking on him throughout the night, and I talked to him the next day, and he was telling me how he was having a bit of a crisis of faith because he felt like he was doing something wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I wanted to, I don't know if anyone in the chat is Muslim, might have been Muslim at one point, or was raised Muslim, but I kind of I want a bit of more of understanding about that, because to me it feels like a
Yes.
key. It feels like a
We
key
need
to
to.
higher spirituality, not like a cheat code, you know?
I can tell you about an experience where someone someone who was with me in high school, and he connected with me later when he saw my YouTube channel about psychedelics, and he was like, "Yeah, I tripped like 2 times. I want to explore, etc." And he tripped with me like one day, like and it was like candy flip type things. Like it was like something like 200 micrograms of LSD with like maybe 100 milligrams of 6-APB, and 6-APB is like an empathogen. It's like a long-lasting MDMA with psychedelics qualities. And
Okay.
like the trip was really intense, but it was going well for like the like let's say the 5-6 first hours. And I was like, okay, the trip is going to go well, because in general bad trips happen like in the come up when people are really confused. And the trip was really intense but really going well. Like he didn't live like an ego death, but he was going like really deep into ego dissolution. And then when like a little bit before the calm down, he was like, I did something like really bad, compared to my faith. Like he was like Muslim, believing in it, praying, etc. And for him, he did something really bad. Like we call it haram here. Like haram is like pork or alcohol, like things you shouldn't do, and halal is things you should do. They was like, I did something really haram. God is going to punish me, etc. And I was really trying to calm him down, and like I talk with him about this after, and I really think like people like who grow like I have just this example of Islam, because I grow a lot around the Muslim people, and
Okay.
people who grow with this, there is a lot of social, like I think social judgment around the religion. like like people aren't really like practicing what is written in the book, in the Quran, etc. It's really like a social viewing of what is writing in it. And so people feel like they did something like is not tolerated, like from the perspective of Islam, of Quran, like drinking alcohol or eating pork, and the texts are unclear about psychedelics. Like alcohol is prohibited, and whatever make you like in unconscious state. But as you say, Cosmic Miracle, we say you go into a higher state of consciousness, higher spirituality, but like in the social vision of it, people saw it as something like bad, haram, and not Muslim related. But when I searched it personally, I found that there is some hadith, and the hadith are like the stories of what the prophet Muhammad said, etc. And there is a hadith about like magic truffles for the third eye. So I think like in the real like Islam, like how it appeared, like people were using psychedelics in the beginning, but as religion was used as something political, people started seeing their fate, their religious fate, through the social spectrum, and not being able to really distinguish what is good, what is bad.
Yeah, if I could like add a personal experience
Yeah, please.
and go deeper. Yeah, because I was my upbringing was Muslim as well, not so strict like most people around me. But as Nuri said, like it's more social, and when you ask yourself questions about God and everything, you're gonna be redirected towards Islam. So I used to pray, do Ramadan, do all of that. And obviously, when you grow up, you start questioning and you go out of this. And obviously, during my trips, it was more eye opening. And during one of my last trip, it was a Nexus flip. And I had like a big revelation. I was like feeling very close to God, or however you want to call it. And I had like a automatic reaction of like as if I'm praying, like kneeling down. You see what I mean? Like putting my head on the ground. And it's as if it was telling me, no, I never asked you to worship me. Like you got it all wrong. Like this is not worship. I don't know if you see what I mean, but in the religion, it's like God is something outside of you. Yes, they say we're all one, God is in you, but the core of it is more like God is something outside of you that you should worship, kneel down, fear, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess your friend was really afraid because they say the greatest sin in Islam is like not having the faith anymore. But I don't feel like it's faith that they have, it's just believing something that all their family believe in, and it's a huge like mind control thing, really.
And that's actually a really good point too. The aspect of control, definitely, because I feel that even so funnily enough, I actually consider myself to be a Christian, more of like a follower of Christ than like an actual Christian, because I understand that Jesus lived and was in history, and there are several historical texts that are firsthand accounts of experiences with him. So he existed, but whether or not he was the Son of God, like that's all debatable. And that's where faith comes in. But I like the concept of him and what he stood for. And so that's how I choose to model myself after. So that being said, reading the Bible, there are a lot of things that kind of like bring up questions like, did they have psychedelics in the Bible? Because there are several theories that throughout history, obviously there have been fungi and certain brews that have been shared, but in the Bible specifically, one prime example is a substance that was theorized to be like LSD like compounds. It was like a seed sized, it was like a coriander seed sized substance that tasted like honey, and they called it manna from heaven. So I think that psychedelics played a role in these spiritual leaders, and I mean that's what I theorize as well, based on just on what I've read. Um, but anyway, all of that is to say that I agree with you about how God is perceived, or this higher power is perceived as like a concept outside of us and separate from us. But realistically, if we think about the idea of being made in their image, then it's a whole thing. I don't. We don't have to get into religion. I forgot to ask if that was even okay.
No, it's all connected. It's interesting too, because it's like, if it is true that psychedelics were like the origin of religions and these spiritual leaders, like how ironic is it that the traditions that followed them would discourage their use? And maybe it's because the problem with like religious dogma is maybe not even the original ideas, it's the people that enforce them.
Yeah.
It's the flawed humans that come generations later and say, no, this is what they meant. And like
Yeah.
a lot of these things are clearly written by human beings. So yeah, it's just fun, kind of ironic that it's like people could actually get closer to the thing that some people call God. Um, and Alan Watts had a bit about this too, where he was like, people are missing the point about Jesus, that like when he said he was the Son of God, it means like you too, not just him, and that's it. It's like the whole idea is that we are all part of this contiguous fabric.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
But if you relate to Christianism, I respect that, and if it makes you feel good, or to Islam, or to anything, thing is with the Islam, you have to take it kind of as a book of laws.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's the whole, for example, the whole country is ruled by this book, so.
Right. Yeah, especially when you have like the country itself is based on like the religion, like a theocratic state. That's where stuff gets tricky. So, I'm curious for Nui and Selma, how illegal is it? Like, what happens if someone gets caught there doing like a psychedelic?
I'm not sure, but for example, right now, just sharing the experience. I mean, we are anonymous, but it's still a bit stressful for me.
Yeah, well,
Weirdly enough.
I appreciate you doing that then.
Oh, thank you.
So you guys both mentioned like your Nui, your friend did some kind of flip. Selma, you did a flip. What was it? What was the one you said you did?
Nexus.
Nexus. What is that? Yeah, what is that one again?
Can I explain, Selma? Okay. So, like you probably know the candy flip, like the classic LSD MDMA, which is like maybe the most popular flip.
Mm-hmm.
The Nexus flip is a mix of like MDMA and 2CB. And 2CB is taken after MDMA, like a little bit before the condom of MDMA. And like Alexander Shulgin himself talk about it, like in Pikal, phenethylamine I have known and loved. And like the idea is like when you check 2CB just before the MDMA come down, the empathogenic effects don't go down, because like when the 2CB goes up, it do some kind of trampoline effect, like it's bump up again the MDMA, so you have like the MDMA lasting like twice longer what it was supposed to last, with the 2CB effect being stronger because it's potentiated by MDMA. And this combination in particular was like I think you have a video like where you talk about Josie Kins, and in Psychonaut Wiki, like Josie Kins, she trip seated like someone, her friend or something, who was doing a Nexus flip for therapeutical purpose, and I think like with LSD, you sometimes goes a little bit too deep, and it can be really difficult to let some traumatic things go up. Even in a candy flip, that is easier because in a candy flip you take the MDMA after the LSD, so you have to go through the difficult ego dissolution of the LSD come up. But like in the Nexus flip, because you start with the empathogen, you're in the beginning in a state of like love, empathy, fearlessness. And from there, you pass to a trippy state where you keep this empathogenic properties going. And like recently, I changed with like I think he works like in neuroscience and psychedelics field. Maybe you heard about Andres Gomez Emilson.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I talked about Andres Gomez Emilson because he did a video in the about the candy flip and an ameliorated version of the candy flip for non-dual awareness. And in this video, he talked about adding 2CB to a candy flip, which is like classically LSD, MDMA, 2CB. And like we have starting as a candy flip, ending as a Nexus flip. And I personally worked in this combination for like 8 years from now. Like maybe in 2016, I did this combination for the first time. And from this time, like I tried it myself and so many close people a lot of time, and like I started talking about it in my YouTube channel, and I even interviewed people who tried it to really understand this combination, because I think that this combination have an incredible potential for like the basics of psychedelic. Was it like therapeutical? Was it for like awakening, spiritual purpose, or was it even for like hedonic, like recreational purposes?
Mm. Wow, that sounds awesome. So it's all three together, or you do the two at the same time and then the 2CB at the end, right?
I'll give you exactly like the timing I'm used to. So you so for the molecules, the first one is like LSD or derivative from LSD, like 1P LSD, LSZ, like ILA. There is a lot of LSD research chemicals. For the second one, like the empathogen, the classic one is MDMA, and I think there's some molecule that can be even better, like 6-APB or 5-MAPB, who has like benzofuran, like a really close chemically to MDMA, but I found them better in the way like they're less intense and they last longer and they're smoother. And for the last molecule, you use 2CB or like something closely related to 2CB, like a short-acting 2CX, like 2CC or 2CD, and then maybe you can use others. The timing is like really you will use in the first part the classic timing for a candy flip. So in general, for a classic candy flip, like I say, at medium doses, like let's say above 100 microgram, 150, you use the LSD first, and then 3.5 4 hours later, you add the MDMA. Like maybe let's say if you used 150 micrograms of LSD, you can use like 120 milligrams of MDMA. And before the MDMA come down, like so you don't come down from MDMA, like maybe 2 to 2.5 hours after the MDMA, you take 2CB.
Wow, that sounds incredible, man. You know your stuff. Do you find that like when combining, because I've never done any kind of flip, like I've taken them all one at a time.
You never combine substances?
No, man. I just hadn't had the opportunity. Yeah, but I want to. One combo I really want to try is MDMA with 4-HOMET. Um,
Okay.
but do you find that because sometimes taking a trip just by itself, you get kind of like exhausted or tired or worn out at the end of it. Do you find that like combining in this way makes you even more exhausted at the end, or how do you feel after when you do a combo like that?
Okay, so I will talk about this combination in particular because, like for me, something I love to say is like psychedelics and substances. I like food. Like banana alone is really good. Like strawberry alone is really good. But like if you combine them in a milkshake, you can have something wonderful. So each combination, like you can mix sometimes like banana with beef, and it's not good. Like you have bad combination,
Yeah.
and everything like can be good alone, but like combination is something I really love to explore. Like I really prefer to try a combination that like a single substance alone, and like this combination in particular, um like it's like I told you, it's like a candy flip in the start and Nexus flip in the end. Something like magical with the Nexus flip is like when you take 2CB after the MDMA, you don't have the MDMA come down, not just in the moment, but even after the effects finish and even the next days. Like it's a fucking cheat code. You don't have the MDMA come down in the following days.
Interesting. Yeah, because
I I don't
that's
know to explain it in chemically, but that's what I lived, and the reports of people in the internet and my friends lived.
interesting. I wonder if it's because like of the benefits of taking a psychedelic, the way that it kind of refreshes your receptors and stuff. Maybe it's like doing that for you after the MDMA. I have no idea. That's fascinating though.
For real, I'm like you. Like in the for this particular thing, I have no idea. But like for me, like an alley flip can last really long. Like if a LSD trip can go up to like 12 hours, like in an alley flip you can like trip for like 16
Oh
hours.
shit.
Like yes, like it's a really long trip, but um, like the way I like to describe it is like imagine like you have your house, like you live in a house every day, and like your subconscious mind is like the underground of the house, like the I don't know how we call it in English, but like the place under the house. And
The foundation.
like yes, not really the foundation. Salma, please, comment
The
sur
Like the
basement.
basement.
de quoi?
Like the
The base,
basement.
the basement. Okay.
Mm.
Like when you trip, you go to the basement. Like so, LSD is like it opens you the door to the basement to go deep. So you go in the basement, but because you never really go there in general, like it's really dark and you have like some spider webs and like it's really like a lot of dirt and a lot of like you go deep, but you're a little bit scared. And I think a lot of people like under LSD etc. when they take it, like before the experience they want to go deep, but once in the come up they're so scared that they're just like, I don't really want to go deep, I want to just stay in the intermediate level. But when you take like the empathogenic, like MDMA, it's like it has an effect on the amygdala that will suppress fear production or something
Right.
like this. I don't describe it really well, but you also have like a good body feeling, etc. It's like in this dark place, you put some lights. You come here and you put some lights and you can go in the basement. So what is going? You at least you have the lights, so it's not that fearful. And it's look like, okay, there's a play. There's some things I have to change. There's some things I have to clean. And in the end, it's like looking at our subconscious process, our traumatic memories, like something we have to heal in the end. So this like LSD MDMA traditional candy flip the downside with the traditional candy flip is, like you said, at the end you're really exhausted because you're on LSD come down and the MDMA come down, and you're really exhausted. But when we add the 2CB, like the 2CB, I say it's when you have the light, the empathogenic effect give you the light in the basement, so you clean, you do some work, you clean, and what is exhausting is like, yeah, you cleaned your basement, but like it's the end and you're exhausted and you have to go home. But with 2CB, it gives you the opportunity to explore the subconscious place that were locked, like maybe some underground like room or something that were locked, that you opened, and you can like leave, experiment that space. So you're in your basement, but you're here, and you can like maybe open something so the air flows, and because like you cleaned everything, you can put like a chair in exact place where you feel good, and there's a place you can listen like to the rain outside or something. You experiment part of yourself that were like locked or dissociated, because that's what we have when we have traumatic memory. We dissociate from them. We don't want to be attached to this part of ourselves. So after healing them with the empathogenic and the depths of the LSD, the 2CB make the empathogenic effects last longer, so you still have the light. The psychedelic effect lasts longer, so you're still in the basement doing your thing, and the own 2CB effects, so you can explore what you lived and really like appreciate where you are. Because like in a simple like candy flip end of trip, you really like you pass some really great thing, but like the come down to reality is a little bit harsh, and there is part of your brain that was like, oh, maybe I was in a wonderful blissfulness, ecstatic state, but maybe it was just the drug, and now I don't feel that good, and maybe this like lessons, insights I had aren't that true. But with the 2CB, because you keep on tripping, it comes down really slower, etc. You really keep like tripping lightly until you sleep. And I think it's like a more complete experience for like a full process. Like let's say at medium dose, a full therapeutic process. When you go deep to your trauma, you heal them, then you explore and connect to the part of your psyche, your body that were put apart or dissociated. And let's say in a higher dose, if you're looking like for a ego death experience, like when we talk about more than 200 micrograms, you really have like the empathogenic effects that add to psychedelics effect that lead you to trust yourself and go into that fear of dying. That is like really scary, like I'm dying now. And in the end, you have like the 2CB effect that make you really stay and appreciate this place of like infinite time.
Wow. I like that analogy. That's fascinating. So is that where you were talking about with the Ali flip?
Exactly, yes. Exactly.
Okay. So remind me exactly just the sequence. It's LSD first, then MDMA, then 2CB.
Exactly, but like you can find like in Wikipedia, like in the list of polysubstantial combination, like it's written, and like I have some article in French. I can translate it to you if you want to keep some things about it.
Yeah.
Like it's really a central part of my research.
Oh, cool. So yeah, it sounds like you're really into this flipping thing, and you have a big interest in this particular combo because of the just the practical uses that you could get out of it, right? Like with your own psyche.
Yes, for me, I really focus like on two things. Like when I was younger and I lived an ego death experience, like when I was like 20 years old, I really was like everyone need to live this ego death experience. And then I realized that people, like the majority of people, aren't ready for this like ego death experience, and that like healing traumas, etc., would be more central for people who are more like beginners. And I think this combination is really perfect for the two, like for really like for the traumatic thing that like they go in a way like one after the other to really go smoothly through a traumatic process. Like there are even some, like I think she's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, like Frederick Fisher Makel, who worked with Stanislas Grof.
Okay.
Who Stanislas Grof, I think you know him, like a
Mhm.
psychedelic psychiatrist, and she worked with him, and she wrote a book about like I think psychedelic psychotherapy of the 21st century, and she even talked like about this particular combination. She talked a lot about combination. She loves to combining because she thinks like really it's really useful like therapeutical process,
Mhm.
and she even talked like a little bit about this particular combination.
Hmm. So how did you find out about that combo?
Honestly, I like when I was like I arrived in France when I was 18 years old, and like in France, like you can order all type of RC, like research chemical from the
Uh-huh.
Netherlands, so you have like access to an infinite amount of molecules.
Uh-huh.
So I tried like in the beginning, like everyone, like you try substances like one by one, you explore, and I think like when I the first time I tried a candy flip, it was a candy flip with 6-APB, and 6-APB is like long-lasting MDMA but with psychedelic qualities. MDMA is not psychedelic on its own, but 6-APB on its own have a little bit of psychedelic touch. And I wasn't at all aware that I was going to live an ego death experience. And after this ego death experience with a candy flip, I really wanted to go deeper, and I struggled with the calm down. The calm down was really really harsh.
Hmm.
Like you go from really death rebirth process, that the whole universe talking to you, like going to the like the object at the end of time. You gave it a name, like the Terence McKenna thing.
Mhm.
Like, can you say the name again? I loved it.
The transcendental object at the end of time, or the eschaton.
Yeah, eschaton. I don't know. I don't know why, because but I love this word,
Yeah,
eschaton.
it is a good word.
And just like I think, like I before this experience, I was like I approached this alley flip from slightly, because like if I did like one time I did a Nexus flip with like a micro dose of 20 microgram of LSD, and it was interesting. And the first time I tried an alley flip, it was at a music festival, like a big music festival in France, in Montpellier, named like I Love Techno, like a techno festival with like 40,000 people. And I did like a lighter candy flip with like LSD and 6-APB, like 150 micrograms of LSD and maybe 150 milligrams of 6-APB succinate. And like the candy flip was going really good, and I was having like 1 2 CB, one two like maybe 16 milligram of 2 CB with me. And I was like, maybe I will try it, like in the end, like before the calm down of the 6-APB. And when I took it, I remember like the effect lasted really long, like I don't know, like in the end of the festival, like after 12-hour festival, you see everyone like so exhausted, they just want to go home.
Mm.
And me, I was still dancing and seeing the tree dancing. Like the visuals were so strong, because like you add a psychedelic to a mix of a psychedelic and pathogens, and the visual was so strong, like the trees were really dancing to the rhythm of the techno, like really like the people, etc. And I remember when we got back home and everybody was just like, "Oh, we need to sleep for tomorrow for the road." Like I was in a really serene state where I was like, and I understand the whole life and everything, and I was really surprised because like in a candy flip, you're a little bit afraid of the calm down. That is like the LSD calm down is not that rough, but it's exhausting. The MDMA calm down is rough. So in general, you're afraid of the calm down. And really, in the experience, I literally had no calm down. Like I kept on tripping for maybe 16 hours, and even
Wow.
in the end, I was so serene, so relaxed, so peaceful, and from there I really started like exploring this combination a lot.
Wow, man. That sounds very fascinating. You've definitely piqued my interest. So if I were to start with my first combination of two, which one would you recommend?
You have experience with 2CB, like a lot?
No, no, I do want to try it though.
Okay. LSD and MDMA.
Yes.
I think like if you have few experience with LSD, few experience with MDMA, I'll try a classic candy flip.
Okay.
And the classic candy flip will be like really fucking crazy. I really suggest you see the Andres Gomez video about the candy flip,
Okay.
because he even have some like kind of graphic about the dosage. Like if you
Mm.
like there is some kind to adapt the dosage of MDMA to the dose of LSD. So I suggest, like, I'll give you like the link to the video,
Okay.
and yes, like I think a candy flip can be a really interesting experience. That will like feels really different from LSD alone and really different from MDMA alone.
Mm. And some people like to compare 2CB to kind of like a mix of those two, but then I've heard others say like that's not really accurate. How do you feel? Like, how would you describe something like that?
Have you tried like Huashuma, like San Pedro?
No, I do want to try that though.
Uh,
Mescaline, right?
you didn't try like any phenethylamine?
You know what? I don't think I have.
Okay. Yes, I know that in the US, like you have like it's difficult to get phenethylamines. Like I know,
Yeah,
I think you have. It's more easy, like in the US, to find tryptamines, find DMT, etc.
definitely. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I do want to
Uh,
find it. I have a feeling, a special feeling about mescaline that, it's calling to
I
me.
love mescaline.
Yeah?
I love mescaline. Yes. Like I think, like personally, in psychedelics, I prefer phenethylamine over tryptamines, but it's just like a personal choice, because like I feel like they have a really comfortable body load, and in general they have like long effect with like for me tryptamines sometimes are a little bit too confusing,
Hmm.
discomfort for me. I love them too, but like maybe I prefer phenethylamines. And mescaline is like mescaline is really something lovely, and I think 2CB really you can compare it to mescaline, and there is some people that sometimes compare a low dose of mescaline to a low dose of MDMA because of the empathogenic qualities of mescaline. Where you focus more on them on a low dose than on a high dose that gets really psychedelic.
Interesting. I've never heard
It's
that. I've never heard about that. But it kind of makes
The-
sense
on-
since 2CB is a phenethylamine and
Yeah.
it's kind of got that empathogenic vibe to it from what I hear.
But 2CB can look like an LSD MDMA kid, but a kid that you can't really like say how is identical to his parents.
Okay. I like
Like
that.
really, you go into the empathogenic effect of MDMA a little, and you go into the psychedelic effect, but with not that depth, because like LSD, you can go really deep to places where it's fucking scary. with 2CB you don't really like you need a high dose to really go to a scary place, because like on LSD I can have a really difficult trip without having much visuals. But like on 2CB I remember going out like on the street and walking without really being fearful alone, and really having visual that people like growing on the street like from 1 meters to 3 meters, and their eyes like dancing in their face with their mouth, everything dancing, and my mindset is pretty relaxed. Like I can talk to people, I can move, etc.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people 2CB is their favorite recreational psychedelic. Would you call it
Mhm.
that, or yeah?
Well, like if I had to choose one for the recreational aspects, I think probably I will take 2CB. Like probably if I don't have the choice to a combination, but I always say if I had to choose like just one favorite molecule, it will be 2CE.
Okay. And how is that one different?
Hey,
CCE
friend.
like is on the list of Shulgin, the magical half dozen of Shulgin,
Okay.
and it's QCE is the molecule that will have the most like
Okay.
synesthetic effects with music.
Ooh.
Like really, 2CE and music is something completely crazy,
Have to head
like
out.
completely crazy. Yes,
Y'all
yes,
have a
Cosmic
wonderful
Miracle.
night. It was so nice chatting with everybody.
Mm. Yeah, thanks for popping
But
by.
It was a pleasure, Cosmic Miracle.
absolutely, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me. Y'all have a wonderful night.
You
Good
Night.
too,
night.
Cosmic Miracles. Thanks for coming.
Feel free to add me as a friend if you're interested. You're more than welcome to.
Okay, will do.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sister.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Love you, T.
Love you. Peace.
Bye.
Peace. So I was talking about 2CE.
Yeah.
2CE, like is like invented by Alexander Shulgin, and for me, like it's really close to mescaline. Like 2CE is like a dark mescaline.
Interesting.
A dark
Hello.
mescaline,
What's up, Max?
and how like it's a molecule that you can go really deep into something really scary, and the visuals are fucking crazy. Like when I was younger, I did one time like a heavy dose. Like you really, I wasn't prepared at all. Like it was a day, like I came back from school, I was still like 20 years old, and I did a cannabis omelette. I did a cannabis omelette, and just after the cannabis omelette, I was like, "Oh, I have this weekend to myself alone. Let's do a big trip." And I took maybe like 32 milligrams of 2CE,
Hmm.
which is like maybe the equivalent to maybe 350 micrograms of LSD or something.
Mm.
And I took it, and like after 30 minutes, I was like 2CE is too deep. I was something a little bit more fun, cooler, and I added 20 milligram of 2CB.
Hmm.
And like few minutes after, I feel really high, and I realized that I feel really high just because of the cannabis omelette. I was like, "Whoa, I'm in for a ride!" Like really. And I remember like dancing in my room, like doing like intuitive shamanic dances, and in the end like really going in my bed, like I have to accept that I'm dying. And like in the process, I remember after a few hours I was like, whoa, this is so fucking scary. And I was like in darkness with my headphones on, and I was like, maybe if I put a little light I will be reassured. And I put like the flash of my phone on my hand, and I have like 9 fingers that are multicolors tentacle with neon colors that change, that go in loop in fractals.
Oh my
And I
god.
shut down the light. I was like, nothing external can help me now. Like, nothing.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That is insane. Well, you definitely caught my interest with the 2CE and music, because I'm a musician, so I'm very, very
Yeah.
intrigued by that.
Hello.
Hey Max, what's up?
Hi. I just noticed it's 4 a.m. and that you guys are on, and I did not catch much about all that, but sounded pretty intense, man.
Yeah, we were talking about like flipping, like combinations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
been a while.
so it's pretty late for y'all. I'll probably want to go for a few more minutes, but I haven't had any dinner yet. So, but I'm down to chat since you just got here for a little bit. But yeah, it's also what time is it for you guys over there, Nui and Selma?
2 a.m.
2. Okay, not too bad.
Well, yeah, me too. I would like to chat some with y'all, and I guess that's we'll just be in the Discord.
Yeah, well, we can keep going on the stream for a little bit here. What's on your mind lately?
Well, that's a long story. How about you go eat something, man? Important.
All right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
I'll be here, so you can always come back after dinner if you want.
Okay. Yeah, how about that? I'll go ahead and end the stream and then I'll come hang out in the Discord after I eat some dinner. And yeah, if you guys are up, then we'll talk and but if not, we'll catch you another time. So,
No problem, bro. Whenever you want. I probably be there, but whenever you want.
all right, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, guys, and it was lovely to talk to you and hear your thoughts on everything. And yeah, I'm trying to do this every last Sunday of the month, so you're always welcome.
Nice, thanks.
All right, cool.
That's super awesome. Yeah.
All right, well, if there's anyone watching this stream on YouTube who's not just in here with us, then adios. Heading out. All right.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.